Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Alex from Boss Crypto. If you guys want access to our exclusive trading academy, we have opened up a limited amount of seats completely free for 30 days. So just head over to bosscrypto.co or click the link in the description. Get access to a free trial today. Hope you guys enjoy the video. So we've had quite the volatility increase today with a drop below 7,600 on Bitcoin. Let's talk about that. So we've got our slow stochastic, which is really low now at about 12.5, which is, I believe, the lowest it's been since 2015, which is absolutely crazy. I mean, when we went from one of the lowest points it had been to one of the highest points it had been, all the way back to one of the lowest points it's been. It's absolutely crazy how this momentum shifts. And look at how price went too. It did the exact same thing, just a big up and a big down. And we're coming to a pretty key point here at this $7,400, $7,000 pivot. So this is where we stopped in May and popped pretty much 100% up to 14,000. And that's really the only higher low we've made after breaking through this key $6,000 floor. So if we can't hold there, and we've also got Pi on the daily right below that level at like 7,000. And I'm also paying attention to futures where Pi is at about 6,800. So we've got kind of a wide zone here where we could potentially bounce, whether it's 7,440. And you can see right here, we've already kind of started the wick back above that pivot. So it's possible that all we did here was shake out everyone that bought up here and then run the stops from this level. We'll see if we can close the daily back above here, but for now, it's just like it was back here. We're still in a downtrend, and it paid off to play it that way too, right? We went short here in the chat at about 8,400 with a stop above this pivot high, and now we covered half of that today with 3 times leverage, about 30% gains. Really nice. Got stopped out of a couple alt trades, but this short more than made up for it, and most of those were in profits anyways, I believe. So what's the situation now? Essentially, if we can't hold here in front of Pi, I'd say on a weekly basis, we have the monthly close coming up soon too. But really, if we get a weekly close below this level around 7,000, it's probably just going to drift back to 6. And, we came up so fast through this level that it's kind of just a guessing game on where we're going to stop. It could be 6. We tore through 6 like it was butter last time, so maybe it wouldn't be. Maybe it'll be this consolidation region here. We got the 200 on the weekly, and last time we broke the bands, we went to the 200. So it's not that crazy to think we do it again, and that's at 4,800. And I'm not trying to come off as super bearish or anything, but it's the state of the market right now, right? We just broke down from, let's see, how long was this? Pretty much a month-long bear flag. Kind of poorly drawn. But you get the idea, right? We just broke down from a 4-week bear flag after breaking down from like a 3-month triangle, right? So, this is technically bearish big time until we get back above really 8,800 and that 9,000 region. This whole region is just a big block of resistance. But now you could say, if we can get above this pivot high from where we broke down, that'd be a good sign that we're back in an uptrend, at least in the short term. But really, you'll see this $9,000 level, this big region here, that lines up with the 8 on the weekly, which is at around 8,600 right now. So once we get a bullish engulfing candle back above that, should be enough to cross this stochastic up. Then can talk about getting heavy on the long side again. But until then, it's just kind of a waiting game, right? We'll see if this holds. If it doesn't, I'm going to cut basically everything I have in crypto except for the bit of Bitcoin I bought back here, which is only like 10% of my account. So if we break this, I'm okay going sidelines and just waiting to see how it plays out and then staying hedge short. Like if we get some bounces up and rejections, I'm okay being short for a bit. But, if this is the big bull market, right, historically, you don't really want to be getting heavy on the short side, 50% down. You know, unless we're going down to these lower levels, which, you know, there's no way to truly know, but it's much more likely if we close below this level than if we close somewhere above it, right? So as long as we're holding this, it looks pretty good for the long term. I didn't start on the monthly, but you'll see on the monthly that lines up with the 8 too, and we're kind of below it now. But, you know, as long as we can hold above 7,000, it still looks good. But if we close below that on the monthly, then probably going to cycle to the 30, which is around 6,000. And then, like I said, we got all these pivots down here on the weekly. A lot of potential zones where we could bounce. So like I said, it's kind of just a guessing game. I'm actually just going to delete all this now. But yeah, so what we did today was covered half our shorts and probably going to move my stops from here to essentially break even. I shorted right in here after this rejection. And we can talk about that real quick too. So essentially, we had this big breakdown over here with this one fat candle. And then right after that, we bounced and we reached what would become the range high for this trading range we entered. And over here, I was not in any short positions yet. I was actually trying to play a little bit on the long side. And then we ran basically all the stops above there. We tried to break out and make higher highs and higher lows again, but then we got rejected. And once we got back in this trading range, I was like, all right, well, you know, I bought some. Back here when we first broke down, I had some bids in the books, so I already bought some. I was like, well, that's pretty good. You know, I already have some exposure on the long side. Might as well open a short just in case I'm wrong and we happen to just dump lower. And what do you know? Paid off extraordinarily. And if we go even lower, it'll be even better. But at this point, it's done what it needed to do. It covered any of my losses on the way down and actually put me in some profits. So pretty good day. And what's even crazier, you know, I know, right? This is pretty crazy already. But what's even crazier is we have alts that are still running. I mean, not, you know, 0x is not going up drastically, but, you know, normally you get a move down on Bitcoin and you get a straight move down on alts. You know, Bitcoin goes down 5%, Ethereum's going down 10%. That's usually how this goes. But it doesn't look like that this time. We've got a lot of alts that are actually holding up well. Some are even moving higher, like BAT. Doge holding up just fine. Digibyte actually trying to bottom here with Bitcoin bounce. Now, if you go look at some of the USD pairs, a lot of them are getting kind of screwed due to BTC, which is why I was talking about in our last video earlier this week, it makes sense to be hedged in a lot of these majors like EOS or Bcash. I kind of wish I held on to Bcash. I was short in here and I covered into the lows, almost the exact lows down here. And then I trailed my stop above break even. I stopped out. And I was glad because my original stop was here and I would have taken a loss if I hadn't. But then I second guessed myself on the short up here, which is a shame because that would have been a really great play too. After I was talking about it in the video, I was like, well, I'm already short Bitcoin, so I don't need to double short. But yeah, that would have been a great play. Ethereum, you know, also dumping against USD. This is one pair against BTC that's actually showing a fair bit of strength today. You know, you look at Binance on the 4-hour here. Got a lot of volume coming in on this pair and an attempted reversal here. Although, you know, after what we've seen already, Ethereum is going to have to do a lot to convince me we're back in a bull run, right? On the daily, we're at that point, right? If we hold here at the bands, we got the cycle low. You know, this is a great opportunity to pop us back up to the 200. But I'm honestly fine waiting out that move and then buying a pullback after. You know, I'm not in any rush on these assets. I'd rather buy stuff that's already trending or is a little less just choppy than FBTC. Not that other assets here aren't choppy. It's just I'm okay waiting this one out, you know? And then staying hedge short on the USD pairs, right? And then, yeah, looking for opportunities on specific alts. Oh, yeah, Engine. That was another one that's looking like it's trying to break out here. it's just like these random alts here and there. A lot of alts are kind of dumping with the market. Like we go look at like Dusk, for example, that's dumping with the market. ERD dumping with the market. EVX going sideways. Hot actually moving up a little bit. So it's kind of like 50-50 here, where some assets, a lot of the old, like 2017 ICOs, they seem to be dumping. But some of the more strong ones like BAT, Chainlink, let's look at Raven here. Raven's kind of dumping. But yeah, about 50-50 across the market. So keep your eyes out for some good alt setups because, you know, I don't know if BTC is going to bottom here yet. Like I said, I think we can go a little bit lower. But when it does bottom, there should be some really good setups on altcoins. So keep your eyes on that. If you want to know more about what altcoins we're trading, you can check us out in the chat. See, I cover everything I want to talk about. I don't want to make this too long. Yeah, key levels on BTC, of course. Pi on the daily, 7,000. We're at that pivot. That's important on the daily. And then right before this pivot, you had this little pivot here, which on most exchanges, we got this wick. But I think the real level we can see on Bitfinex. Yeah, the real level there is right about 7,000. So we've got a bunch of key levels of support here. We got the 7,500 pivot. We got 7,000 pivot. We've got Pi at 7,000. And then on futures, we've got Pi at 6,800. We're actually trying to hold the 200 on futures right now. That would be a lot of confluence of support there, right? 74.50 pivot, the 200 on the daily, especially if we can get that to close back above 7,800. Definitely want to keep your eye on the daily close today, guys. That's going to be really important. But yeah, big zone of support there. If you can't hold that, almost certainly going to drift back to like 6,800, something like that. And then, yeah, keep your eyes on alts, guys. Okay, so if you like this, if you watched all the way to the end, we know you're going to fit in perfectly with our 320 traders and investors who are already enrolled in the academy. So head over to bosscrypto.co or click the link in the description. I'll see you guys there. Take care.